Hello again my dudes, welcome back to the channel. This is Kadima with another Elden Ring DLC build video, this time using the Sword Lance. And we'll be infusing it with heavy, so it scales completely with strength, and it gives us a scaling of A. The attributes required are 21 strength, dexterity 11, and this bad boy gets an attack rate of 818 when two-handed with the current stats. Now, one thing I suggest before we move on is for PvP, I actually carry a twin bird kite shield because it gives us a parrying tool, and sometimes we run into people that like to spam running attacks, and with the carry and retaliation, this is just the right tool to parry them. However, if we're not finding that kind of thing, I just go two-handed permanently. Now, this thing hits really hard, and we are going to analyze why it is the case. With the attack rate of 880, we are going to buff this thing, of course, with the Exalted Flesh, and if you notice, the Ashes of War is the Crag Blade. Those will be our two buffs. But to help the damage even further, we are also using Lacerating Crossed Tree, Two-Handed Sword Talisman, and the Spear Talisman, which enhances counterattacks unique to thrusting weapons. This being a thrusting weapon, it will benefit us as well. Last, we also have the Tree's Favor because our set is quite heavy and we want to make sure we are on medium load. For the armor, Helm of Solitude, chest, Armor of Solitude, and for the hands, the Gauntlets of Solitude. For the legs, the Young Lion Greaves. This gives us a poise of 88, as well as some good physical defense numbers and damage mitigation, which is just perfect for this build because you want to be tanky to be able to trade in some hits. So basically what you want to do is use the Crag Blade, use the Exalted Flesh, and when this combines we get 1130 attack rate. Now this thing can two-shot people in PvP. As a matter of fact, I managed to one-shot someone when doing a simple running attack with the R2. This thing does a tremendous amount of damage if every single one of those ticks hit. I did as high as 1900 damage, but of course the R1s are kind of thrusty moves forward. The R2 are more lengthy moves forward. The charged R2 actually combines to a true combo if you just do an R1 afterwards. So this is a true combo, an R1 to R2, fully charged R2 to R1. That's a true combo. But in the arena, of course, you're not gonna get many of them. For the rest of the attacks, the jumping R1 it's a thrust forward, and the jumping R2 is a thrust downwards. A really nice weapon to use. It's quite strong, it does really good damage, and the shield helps us. If you need to block, you can block. If you need to parry, you can parry. You won't get the boost from the talisman by having it two-handed when you have the shield in your hand, but if you need to parry someone, that's actually a good way to go. Now, the Lacerating Crossed Tree, this enhances dashed attacks, and that's why our charged R2 does that really nice amount of damage, especially when the Crag Blade is on it. One last thing, let's have a look at the stats. I am level 151, Vigor at 60, Mind at 10, Endurance at 41, because you want to be having enough stamina to go around and to have enough equip load to use this setup. Strength at 81, Dexterity at 13, Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane haven't been touched. That's the default values for the character. No slots needed. We are not really using spells or incantations or the sort. And this is pretty much it, guys. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Your support is truly appreciated. For my usual viewers, thank you so much for the continuous support. As per usual, let's showcase the typical examples of the Black Knight and the Chief Blood Fiend, and then, of course, many examples in the arena doing some PvP. Back to visit our usual victim, the Black Knight. We buff ourselves with the Exalted Flesh. Crag Blade goes on the lance. We prepare the flask. By the way, the flask, I suggest having the one that increases damage the more you hit the target, and the one that increases the ability to break their defense. But as you can see, the damage is quite crazy. That running R2, even though it didn't tick all the boxes, He did quite an amazing amount of damage. And then we just finish him off with a roll R1, and that's pretty much it. For the Chief Blood Fiend, not much different. Summon the Mimic as usual. We got hit. Just gotta get that HP back, just so we're on the safe side. There's no shield here, I don't know if you noticed, simply because if you use the shield, the Mimic will tend to equip the shield and have it in his hand instead of two-handing the sword lance, which is a bit stupid. If you remove the shield, he doesn't have the shield, and as you can see, he's already doing a ton of damage. Look how much damage the Mimic did on his own. Half HP gone, and now I just charge with an R2, and then another charged R2, and that's it. Job done. GG. Now for the arena, we got a couple of long fights, but most of them were actually quite quick. This guy attacked me as I buffed. I'm not surprised, a lot of people do that. It's okay. Let's try to get some roll catches, and that's when I notice, okay, he's using blind spot. Of course he is. Everybody's using blind spot. Not a problem. We just have to move around him and try to avoid that blind spot. He changed to the Fire Knight Great Sword, which is a bonus because that one is much easier to dodge. And I know the moveset quite well and the reach of the weapon, so I punish him after those rolls, and then again I charged in with a couple more punishes. He managed to roll out of the second one. I got a little bit lucky there. No problem. Dodge those fire spells. He's gonna come again with the blind spot because, you know, now that he's about to lose, of course he's gonna just spam blind spot. Everybody does that, so it's nothing new. I'm just used to it, really. I don't even care anymore. So I'm just waiting for him to run out of FPs. There he is, and that's why he lost. He ran out of FPs, and I just had to wait for him to use the flask. Now against our friend here, we're gonna buff the weapon as usual. He's using bleed, of course he is, not a problem. We just have to avoid the weird hitbox of that sword, which is just very strange. I'm trying to get him into trading. He did. If we trade, we will always do more damage, so it's not a problem. Again, just trying to get him to trade. He did. We actually were the only ones to hit. He didn't hit connect. He's gonna dodge again, so I just have to time my attacks perfectly. There you go. And then, oh, missed. Let's try one more time. Oh, the trade. GG. Now this guy, I fought this guy twice. I think this was the first time I fought him. The second time I fought him, it was a very long fight, so I discarded out of the video. But again, Exalted Flash, Cracked Blade, there we go, ready to fight. If you take notice on how much damage each hit does, that was actually me trying to trap him into coming too close, but he didn't. Almost got him with that little poke. Missed. He misses as well. There we are. Just trying to get that trap. Didn't work again. He's gonna do a running attack. That's fine. We managed to get that rolling R1. We do the trade. We did 800 damage with the trade, so that's fine. Try to stay away. Just time the attacks nicely. There we go. Nearly there. And then he manages to spam some of this in my face, but I get the win with the rolling R1. Now, another fight. Exalted Flash, Cracked Blade. I get hit by the Smith Shield. People just like to attack while we buff. It's fine, not a problem. He's using the big katana, so we have to be careful. That thing's got quite some weird range. But I can do that too. I tried to do the R2, half charged R2 to R1, but the R1 didn't connect. Still didn't connect here, but then he tried to use the Ash of War, and that cost him the fight. Another duel, Exalted Flash, as usual. Cracked Blade, he's already using Mesmer Flame spell, not a problem. My turn, no, I missed. We both miss. He's gonna go back to Mesmer Flame. I started seeing a pattern here. He was using the Mesmer Flame and then doing a running R1 with the katana. As you can see, he's gonna do it again. Look, Mesmer Flame, running R1. So that was me already predicting and managing to get the parry because of him doing the exact same thing. This guy, again, Exalted Flash. We didn't manage the Crack Blade because he attacked us with the Blood Fire spell straight away. I managed to get the Crack Blade now. He's already casting us some blood spells, just like the guy before. I tried to get an R1 there, but I realized he just backstabbed and then he just stood there. So this tells me that what this guy plans to do is simply backstab to R1, which is fine. If you're gonna do that, I have a perfect way to punish it. Do that to that 1300 damage, and then you get parried. GG. If you're gonna do that same strategy every time, I will trap you into doing what I want so I can punish you. Exalted Flash, Crack Blade, all buffed. We give our opponent enough time to buff himself. He seems like he's just using a dagger. I didn't realize I wasn't two-handing the sword at that stage, so I got the shield out just to be sure. Try to get those pokes. He's trying again to... This guy is also trying to backstab me into a backstab, which becomes a little predictable. So I just rotate around where he was spinning so I could get the R1 damage going. Crack Blade, Exalted Flash. We are ready to fight. Let's go. He uses Fire Grant Me Strength. He brings the guns. I managed to get 1000 damage with a simple R1. That was not even a running R1. 1000 damage. Jesus. But that's not even the best part. The best part is that we are actually going to just use another attack R1 to kill him. So all we took was 2 hits and this guy was dead. GG. There we go. Second hit. Now, this guy is using the scythe with bleeding on it. We just gotta keep our distance. He's got a weird hitbox. He's trying those jumping double attacks. 2 hits, 1600 damage. Jesus. I actually played terribly here. I could have ended the fight with a simple rolling, but I took too long. Trying to get that R2 charged damage, and we get the win. Now this was probably the quickest fight. So we're gonna start. I do the Crack Blade. He immediately tries to get me with bleeding and fire damage. Didn't go so well. I know what he's going to do, so I just trap him into doing that little dance so I can poke him twice for 1900 damage. 2 pokes, 1900 damage. Jesus. Now, of course, the moment I saw him taking out the shield, I know he's going to try to parry. So, parry this, my friend. Oh, no, he managed to roll away. I got hit. And then I managed to get a charged R2 for 1400 damage. Nearly 1500 damage. Jesus. The damage of this thing is so good. Again, Crack Blade. Exalted Flash. He's jumping, saying he's ready. I do the same. Fire Knight Great Sword. That thing can be scary. Trying to get that charged R2. Didn't hit. No. Charged R1. As soon as I saw the shield, I knew I had to try something different. And then he completely mistimed his parry. And I get the win with the charged R2. Again, another guy. We both buff. It's all good. Good sportsmanship. He's bringing the Twin Blade, which is funny enough because that's the build I made yesterday. As you notice, I've done about 600 damage with that little poke. I'm actually going to make a mistake here. I thought I had waited just enough to do the charged. Here I did 1000 damage with a charged R2. Jesus. What a nice sword lance this is. And that's the running R1 for the win. Now again, new fight, Cracked Blade, Exalted Flash, get those numbers up. He decided to cast that, so I just charged R2 for 920 damage, followed up with an R1 for a total of 1600 damage. He's nearly gone already with just 2 hits. He's using the Sword of Damnation. That tells me he's just gonna try to use it, but he didn't. Instead he used Golden Vow, and I got the backstab for the win. Another fight, here we go, Exalted Flash. Our opponent is also buffing, but this is the one fight that I managed to one-shot this guy for 1900 damage. Look, I'm going to do a running R2, we are going to trade, and I'm going to one-shot him. Look, here we go, and now, running R2, 1900 damage, one shot, GG. Now here's with my friend Scarfacina. Good fight. This was actually a long one. Trying to get the damage, but he's got hyper armor and he's also using endurance, so it's not easy for me to dig in there because I'm going to get hit. Still got 1300 damage, so it was a worthy trade. Now he's going to have to play carefully because he knows he's one hit away. He's still confident in the hyper armor, although all I need is to hit him once. I just want to find my opening so I don't get stun locked. I still get hit again. He's using the endurance one more time. Running R1. Dodged. Jumping R1. Dodged. He's going to try to crouch R1. Dodged. Until I finally managed to get him maybe just distracted enough for me to do the running R2 for the win. Actually, that was a running R1. Again, another fight. This was a very quick one. Cracked Blade, Exalted Flash. I don't think he was expecting what's about to happen, but any case. Here we are. Let's get ready. Jumping R1 for 1400 damage and then a charged R2 for 280. Jesus Christ, the damage of this thing. In any case, guys, this is going to be the last example. It's going to be some of a long fight. You can tell our opponent got invisible, but that's not going to stop us from getting the win and go for those trades. Nice little poke. And then it was just a fight between some magic and a horse rider, so to speak, with a spear, with a lance. In any way, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and visiting for the first time, please subscribe. It tremendously helps us grow. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next build video. Take care. This is Kadima. Cheerio!